Hello and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures, where you find me just after an OBS update, so I'm a little paranoid that this won't actually work, because previous OBS updates have broken things. This isn't quite the episode I planned. The episode I planned involved a bit more graveyard stuff. Unfortunately, I had a genius order these for me. Absolute utter genius. They're meant to be 150mm square, right? So I can put extra tight graveyards, and there's a big bit in the middle. And this is a 150mm long piece of MDF 3mm thick, which I was going to use as a basis for wall. However, I got confused when I put it that way around, hold it flat, basically that way around, and discovered that idiot boy had managed to order something that was 165mm in that direction. So I'm going to have to get some more. Otherwise, I'd have started these and get stuck in. I could have trimmed off the 15mm, but this is MDF. And MDF always looks rubbish if you saw it. I mean, I've got it arranged so I've got some little walls, which these are 70s. So they should leave a gate, even if you push them in a bit to allow for a corner. So these are the expansion parts for the gravestones I've got over there. So you're not going to get the thing you were going to get. I was also hoping to get the other webcam sorted out. But whilst it's powering and it's recognised, I can't get it to record anything. Because if I go to scene 2, that's what happens. You get a blank screen. Go back to scene 1. But theoretically, I should be able to swap between cameras as easily as I've just swapped to a blank screen. I've got faff around with the setup. I've got faff around with whether I've got the hardware to support an extra webcam. I ought to have. My video card will support 4 monitors, and I'm running 2 at the moment, so there shouldn't be a problem. But weird stuff happens, like the HDMI monitor that I was using that I've got as spare, not liking to be anything other than primary monitor and not working with the monitors I've got now. Don't need it, but it's a spare, you know, and I'll probably end up using it on the laptop when I move down in the downstairs, because I know it works on the laptop because I've used it on the laptop. Probably a new laptop, because my current laptop is still running Windows 10 and is a bit decrepit. Unfortunately, can't afford it until I paid for this. Lovely piece of kit. I'm going to be playing with the webcam, with the camcorder, but not at the moment, because I've got to go and do other things which are not work related and will take a couple of 3 days of my time. So everything has got to be rushed so I can keep a workflow going here and disappear off and do the other things that I need to do. This is irksome because I'm really getting on with things, including my Scots Levy standard bearer, who will have diamonds on both sides of that, but I need to get myself a set of dividers to do that with and just mark the centres. If I'd have planned this a bit better, I could have probably done some layout grid lines on it and just blanked them in with paint, but I didn't. An initial plan was to use British Army tank recognition triangles on there, and when I couldn't find them, I decided, oh, I can paint diamonds myself. So obviously with a transfer, I could fiddle about and keep looking one side and then the other until they were properly spaced. But I'm going to have to hand paint them, which means I'm going to have to get a pair of calipers and measure from centre to centre approximately, then mark it centre to centre, and then hand paint the diamond. I will do better in future, and it may include me actually doing some planning, which, to be honest, is mine. And I've had a lot of useful advice from a young chap called Stephen Ryder. Where's my camera stopped? Oh, bugger, what's up with this stupid machine? Why is my camera stopped? Just popping out of scene, popping back into scene. Oh, right. The other one is now showing something. That's interesting. But my primary camera has stopped. Right. As you can see, the secondary camera, which is looking down at the desk, is now working. See, look, it works. I will probably need to expand the view. It's a funny little small camera. That's right. So I previously not got it working. As you can see, bits down there, and you can see the laptop on. This is strange. I may or may not keep this one, but as you can see, it is somewhat bewildering. But as I say, now I've got that one working, we'll see, we'll operate on that one. But theoretically, I should be able to swap between them without a problem. As you can see, that's what that's doing. I've also got some, probably down on the table, you can see them better. If I put them on the table, move the microphone back a little bit. I posted these on the Facebook group before I put the shields on them. Now I've got the shields done, as you can see, and they're red and white geometric designs to go with that red and white geometric design. I will also get an armoured standard bearer to go with this lot, because these are the armoured foot sergeants from the Scots warband that I'm doing, and the Scots colours are red and white for this lord, and I'm doing my other stuff. What's here? Let's knock on the floor. Well, that's a knife, right? And there's one of his unarmoured infantry, and another one of his unarmoured infantry who's still sporting a round shield. And I think there's more on here. There's another one with a round shield. Again, in the lower class troops. And this chappie here, this shield, is from one of my leaders, that one, who I took downstairs, hooked down into the workshop to photograph, and discovered that he and dropped him on and he fell on the floor at some point, and I'm really not sure when he fell on the floor, and I've not been able to find him again, which is somewhat irksome. But I will have to go down there and crawl about on my knees with a dustpan and brush and locate him. But you can see in the background, they're sitting on my laptop at the moment, the standard bearer for one of the English groups. I should get this out of the way because it's actually in prime. One of the English groups with a transfer as a wolf transfer, and this guy who's not actually particularly for but is a standard bearer I did for one of my Ars Magica characters who is also a knight, an NPC who is also a knight, and I did that lightning symbol on his flag by using a GW transfer, one of their lightning bolts, and adjusting it accordingly. And I've run out of coffee, which is disgraceful. Look, empty coffee cup. So I'll have to deal with that when I come back. As I say, there's a lot more investigation going on with the whole, needs to be going on with the whole video thing. And then when I've done that, there needs to be and then need to practice with the webcam, with the camcorder, and add this in. But theoretically, if I can get both the cameras working at the same time, and let's check they are. No, they are. No, it's the frozen picture. Okay, that's still the frozen picture. Anyway, if I can get them both working at the same time, I can swap between scenes without hopefully them locking up like that. And you can see me working on stuff here. You can see me talking to you if you really want to look at me. Some people apparently do. Or theoretically, I can put camera in camera so that there's a little of me in the corner. But I personally find that very irritating when I'm watching other people to have a pointless little tiny me in the corner, because you ought to know it's me from what's going on. And as you can see the reflection of the screen that I'm actually viewing this on, which is the main screen in front of me on the webcam, which I might have to fiddle about with location. So don't know. But as I say, it's all very peculiar, and I don't want to do too much faffing about with this when it appears to work. So why is the camera not... Yeah, I don't understand why it appears to be half working. But I will investigate that when I am not talking to you. But basically, that's what's been going on. I've been doing... I failed to start the continue the graveyard project, but I have done a great load of these, and these have got to the point pretty much where I just need to matte varnish them. I've been through and I fixed all the little minor errors on them. The Scots guys here, these ones, which I need a pointer, these still need to be gloss varnished. And this guy needs to be found. He's been gloss varnished, but he's down on the floor somewhere. I've got a load of other sets to build, and I've also got these who are currently villains for my Ars Magica campaign, but I've got a load more of them, obviously more than the 10 in the Victrix packs that I got the other day, and they are going to be converted into an Ultima band to play either against Saracens when I get the new West African scenery that North African scenery that I'm hopefully getting and got it printed, because I'm going to have to get somebody else to print it because I don't have a 3D printer, and I don't need another hobby called 3D printing to add to all the other hobbies that I've got at the moment. But these you'll see in action, because I'll be playing Saga Age of Crusades, and I'll be playing the Baron's War version that's set in the Holy Land. And these particular ones you'll also see when I'm doing, if I take any pictures of Ars Magica stuff, I'll probably set the camcorder down to the Ars Magica game when I'm using figures, so I can get some static pictures of it, because I'm not taking the good camera out. And having now got a hardback book for that Ars Magica, I don't actually have to take my irreplaceable laptop down there either. But those are work in progresses at the moment. Just basically put the sand on the base. The sand on the base needs to dry, and then I need to varnish them, finish them and varnish them. I sanded up the base because it's a job that takes a little while to dry. The PVA probably will take overnight to do it properly, and I will be able to paint them in the morning and obviously photograph them and take them up on here. But I'm just going to take a picture of this with a good camera. Now I'm out of the way. And that, I think, might make a fun thumbnail. I'm going to have to start fiddling about the thumbnails a lot more. One, because I need them to attract people a bit better. And secondly, because the average picture that the old camera took was about 2 point something megabytes, so you could just copy it and save it at a slightly lower resolution. These are about twice that, basically, so I'm going to have to work out how much I have to take the resolution down to get a decent thumbnail that will show. But a photograph of that looks like, well, I think it fits, and it's a bit more interesting than my usual placeholder ones, or pictures of me. I've got these to do, and this means that my edity chap sorry, these are going for eBay. Sorry, not eBay. The Etsy shop. I'll do a whole warband of 32 figures, and that'll probably be about 120 quid when I get it done. But I've got to work that out price. My video editor chap I've arranged to pay him, and he's going to be getting a Norman warband. I don't think I've opened this one yet, but this is the Victrix Norman warband, and that's by way of payment for his services. I might expand on that a little bit, but I haven't decided yet. But again, this is 32 figures, and I will paint them up with the intent of them being a Barons War force, and probably we can also play with them with pillage, because again, the Normans got everywhere. Right, what else have I got that is useful to say? As I say, this is not planned. I'm doing it as I'm going along. I wasn't expecting the whole thing to suddenly start working once I'd upgraded the OBS. As I say, OBS does some strange things, and I'll have to take it from there. But I should just move these back onto here, because they're all in progress at various stages. What I will do at some point, I hope, is I will do a session where I'm pointing up these forces, because I haven't actually worked out what pointed them up for Barons War yet. And if I point them up, if I rough them out for the system, I can then work out what I need extra models, which mounted people need, and that sort of thing. And I just seem to have lost one of the shield. All right, okay. I'll find him in a minute. As I say, he's not vitally urgent to find, but I will, because I need to fish these off and paint them. So fish these off and varnish them, because they're pretty much done. Other than that, I was waiting for some shields. Again, these chappies, I've done the shields. In fact, I did it just before I started fight, and they're basically going to be black, and I will be doing Crimson Fist symbols on them. As they're a fantasy setting, and the clenched fist is a symbol of one of the nasty people in that fantasy setting, and I'll be using these for my Hatmaster game, and I will be using them for my Ars Magica. And this guy I've just fished out, it's quite a find really, in that if I can get him lined up with the camera, basically his arms will fit on the normal will fit on one of the spare slinger bodies that I have quite a lot of, and I can do a two-handed spear using light infantry guy, and I can quite happily swap the spearhead round to have it one way or the other. And so I've got some of those, and as a lot of the rest of the ones won't be spearmen, they'll be polearm people, and I've got polearm sprues that went with them. That will be add a bit more variety and spice to my warbands. Now, what did I do with those workshops? Right, I moved them out of the way because they were in the way. Oh, here they are. Right. Basically, these are truly, truly ancient Space Marine things. I've had them donkeys. The lightning bolt on the shield, on the flag, was converted to one of those. I basically painted it out and then painted it back in again. I like the white lightning bolts, but you can't have those. It appear to have those. The Crimson Fist symbols there will be the ones going on the black shields. Can't use those because the white around them conflicts with my preferred colour scheme, but I've got those, and I've got loads of these. At one point I did a huge Space Marine army. Not sure where it is at the moment, but again, they'll be turned into them, but I'll be using the rest of the models as for Ultramar, and they'll have more conventional shield markings and transfers. I'm also looking forward to doing some North African-y stuff as well. So again, things are coming together. As you can see, it's a bit shambolic still, but, and I've got an Ars Magica thing to, well, I've got a role-playing thing to record, and I've probably got the intro to the Ars Magica game thing to do, though I might actually wait till I've actually run that game this week, because again, that should be going, that's run the day I go out and do this, that this goes live and is premiered, and is pretty much mostly the reason I don't premiere. I struggle to be with it enough while I'm premiering, because I have to walk there and back a lot of the time, and I'm not as fit as I used to be. But I'm fixing that. I have an exercise bike in the workshop. It's in the way, as everything else in the workshop is, but again, you're going to get a bit more fit and painty. Anyway, I think I have been doing slightly over 20 minutes of this, and I've got things to work out why on earth they're behaving like they are, and then I've got to do a couple more recordings. So I will leave you with that, but take care everybody, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because I would like to get the channel monetized so I can actually pay my gentleman who will be doing the video editing in actual money, because there's a limited number of soldiers that any human being can have, and I've probably exceeded it in the shelves behind me. So take care everybody, and goodbye.